No, we're good. Alright, so let's actually start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next episode of the Power Up Happy Hour. This is Ricky.
This is Ben.
Raj.
And this is Saber.
And today we are going to get into, I guess, everyone's favorite subject. We're getting into the books of Harry Potter. And as always, cheers.
Poor Saber.
So I think it's safe to say we've all read the books. Sabers, how many times have you read it through?
I can honestly say probably 10 times each.
Are you serious?
10 times each?
I think I know everything.
I'm probably around 10 on the first 5, but only the last 2 I've only read about twice each.
What about you, Raj?
Completely through just twice. The first 4, 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've read the last one at least 3 times, and I've read it the whole way through once. I'm on my second read through. I think when we...
You're still on the book?
I'm still on the 5th one. That 5th book is the longest read.
But it's
And
one
the
of the
best
best.
one.
Yeah.
The best.
That's the
I was
worst
gonna
one.
say.
What are you talking
No,
about?
hold on.
Oh my god.
Are you
Don't make me
for
slap
real?
you.
I hate
Don't
the-
make me
I
slap
hate
you.
the
Here's the thing.
Happiness.
The 5th one is... Our level spikes just went up. We're arguing a minute and a half into the
This
podcast.
is gonna be a
Fifth one
long
is
night.
obnoxious.
So here's the thing. The 5th one gets really
Can
good.
we vote him out of the podcast?
The 5th one is one of the best ones, except the middle is filler.
Exactly.
It's filler.
It's
The middle
so much
is
filler.
No, you
No,
are
I
wrong.
just
Like,
agree.
I remember reading it the first time that book came out. It might have taken me a year to get through that book.
It took me a week.
I thought it was being
Yeah,
J.R. Tolkien.
Ben, you're an exception.
You know, I mean, I take a while to read books, but Harry Potter, I can finish that. Like, I finished the
No,
6th book in a
I'm
day.
slow when it comes to reading. I take a long time.
I thought it was
to read
Game of
books,
Thrones
but-
at first. I was like, what?
But like with the 5th book, I just love that so much because
Yeah.
that's the first book where it took a dark turn. It
Yeah.
wasn't that same predictable story that you had in like kind of the first 3 in a sense. Everything was different. And I mean,
Yeah, what part are
and
you
plus
calling
it's 870
filler? Like,
pages,
I
which
mean,
means
like
more Harry
the
Potter.
Dumbledore's army, all of his like weird dreams, him learning like how to
Eight-
protect his
so-
mind,
taking over,
like,
you're hearing these
all
songs.
that
It is
stuff
pretty. I mean, it is
awesome.
pretty dark.
Yeah.
Where's your mom, Harry?
That's the movie, not the
So
book.
I'm at the part right now where the Weasleys they take off. They quit Hogwarts. It's been
Okay.
it's been a long time. And then you just met Guap. What's his name?
Yeah,
Guap.
Gwar,
Gwar?
something like
And that's just so fucking stupid.
Guap.
I hated that the first time I read it, and I hated it in the movie. I was like, this is just useless.
Oh, fun fact. I was reading this article about unanswered Harry Potter questions, and this one girl posted a comment saying, since Gorp never really knew how to speak English well, was his name actually Gorp? Maybe he's just pronouncing it wrong. And everyone, like the comments on there is like, you just one comment of it.
like.
Yeah, but I'm on the 5th one right now. But I can honestly say I think my favorite book. Oh, by the way, we're keeping it strictly to the books. We're gonna do a separate one for the movies.
Get out there and read, folks.
Yeah, read your books, and then who am I talking to? I'm still. I think I'm trying to figure out what my favorite book is. I want to say it might be the 3rd one.
That's my second favorite.
Prisoner of Azkaban's really good, and then Goblet of Fire I liked a lot because that's
Goblet
when
of Fire.
Well,
is
just
my
just
second.
like, how did you get like interested in the books and like how did you like? Oh, this is Harry Potter.
Oh.
Like, how did everyone start?
Who wants to start off with that? Because
I'll take it.
One,
Okay.
but-
I actually, my 5th grade teacher read the first book to us in class. I don't really know why. Like, she should have, I guess, been actually teaching. But
Were you at a accredited school?
I was, actually. But, no, like, she just decided to read it to us. And, like, it was awesome. She'd read, like, for, like, an hour and a half a day. And I think it was, like, during we were in it was a GT class, the gifted and talented stuff. So she got to have more freedom, I guess, in the curriculum. But yeah, and I just fell in love with it. She read the second one to us after that. It was great. And like she finished the second one literally like a week before the 3rd came out. So I like grabbed it. And from there I got them like opening day every day. Like I think I actually waited in line at midnight for book 7 even like at Borders in Colleyville before Borders disappeared. Yeah, no, I mean that series. That like made me like reading. I mean, I read before that, but that really made me like
It's like
reading.
you
I had this
enjoyed it, right?
argument
Yeah.
with my dad the other day because like the Harry Potter movies were on, and then my dad's really religious. He's like, "This is that satanic stuff." I was like, "This satanic stuff got your son to develop a reading habit," and then he kind of like just shut up after that. But Yeah, my story on how I got into Harry Potter was I actually saw Sorcerer's Stone, the movie first.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so saw that, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll give the book a shot. So like we had what was those things called in school? The Scholastic Book Fairs.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, I used to see calendars. Fuck the books.
Yeah, but I remember walking into the book fair and I saw that the Harry Potter books were like on the top shelf, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. I ended up finishing that book in like maybe a month, and this was like when I was 9. So like that's pretty quick for a 9-year-old who's busy playing video games. And ever since, like, whenever the books would come out, I would get it the day of.
Right.
So.
And honestly, like the first book, anyways, like that one, I think probably took everyone the longest because it's pretty slow because they have to set up the world and everything.
It's also because I remember the first time reading it, I thought there was so much going on.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, it's the smallest book.
Yeah.
And you can finish it in a few hours now.
Yeah, you
and
really
the
can.
second.
It's just like the first 2 or 3 chapters are just really slow going, and it's like kind of hard to get through, especially that first chapter where they just spend so much time talking about like Aunt Petunia's bushes and
Or Uncle Vernon working.
not
with
dirty.
tools. Yeah.
But
That's
but
funny.
yeah.
I'm kind of in Sauber's boat. I watched the first movie. Did I watch the second movie before I started reading? I can't remember.
Oh, really?
I definitely watched the first movie, but
You youngins.
for me it was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all about AR points. AR points.
Okay, I remember that too.
And that guy was reading, he was like, I can get that with how many points? Gotta read this big book. I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and read it. So that's how I kind of get started. Pretty simple. I'm pretty sure everyone got, or found out Harry Potter through Scholastic Book Fairs
Right.
or AR points.
Side note, in 2nd grade for AR points, because I like slacked off all year and I needed like a crap ton to get my A at the end of the year, I read Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
and it's like this
God.
massive book. It was the most
2nd grade?
boring thing, and I didn't understand half of it because I'm in 2nd grade. And it's like a 9th grade book, and I'm like reading this, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Somehow I got an A on the AR test and got the points, but to this day I don't even remember what happened. I remember there was like some servants, and there was like some like rich white people. That's really all I remember.
So back to Harry Potter.
Yes. How did you get introduced to the books?
Well, I used to have a close friend of mine that always read the books. And we always made fun of her. We was like, oh, Harry Potter's stupid. It's a dumb book. What are you reading? You're dumb for reading. Blah, blah, blah. All that stupid shit.
Go to hell.
But it was in 9th grade. I had to take a reading class. And I remember before class started, they used to be like, okay, here's a free read time. Grab a book and you're going to read for 10 minutes before we actually start.
Dear, drop everything and read.
Remember
that?
Oh, wow. I forgot about that.
We had those.
But the teacher had the first book in like a huge box, and she had like copies of it, and she was just like, the books are up here if you want to take them. So I got bored and I grabbed one, and I think I read through like the first 2-3 chapters, and I got super interested in it after that, and that's how I got into it. I started reading the books before the movies came out.
Yeah,
So I
did
can
too.
safely say that.
I was several years before the movies came out.
I think the 4th book was coming out right when I started reading it, and by then the movies hadn't came out yet.
Yeah, by the time I started reading the books, I want to say the first 4 were already out.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
the second movie was about to come out around that time too.
Yeah.
So.
But what was that? Over this fuck.
Your favorite? Is that what you're saying?
The favorite was the 3rd one, but I remember I used to borrow all the books from that friend. So I used to borrow all of them, and then I think the first book I bought was the 6th one. Because every time I go to India, I don't talk to anyone because I don't like India. but I always take.
He only speaks English.
But so what happened was, that's how I got through the 5th book. That I do remember now, because I wasn't doing anything.
20-hour flight. So
Yeah. I wasn't doing anything else, and I was like, I just want to finish this book. And I actually bought the 6th book in India.
What?
Yeah.
So was it in Hindi? Or
Nah, it was like the British version, if you want to call it.
Nice.
Color had the letter U in it.
Did
for
it have a
some damn
different
reason.
cover?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
The cover was Snape and Harry with the fire around him, like in the cave.
Okay.
It was sick. It's a sick cover.
You still got it?
Yeah, it's at the house.
Nice.
Yeah, but then I bought the special edition one that me and you have, Raj.
Okay, that one's
That
cool.
one's dope, but we don't have the hardcover one.
Yeah.
That one sold out. We have the one where if you line all the books up, the back covers makes Hogwarts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It's dope. It's
Yeah,
dope.
I never had the books. I never had the whole collection. I was like, the minute I saw that, I was like, I need to get this.
Yeah.
See, I have the whole collection, but mine are in such bad condition just because like
Same.
Like,
I want to actually buy one of the. I want to buy the British set of the hardcovers.
They have cool ones. Like they're all like one specific color.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I saw the orange one. I was like, this is dope.
Yeah, I really want those. So that's probably what I'm gonna buy.
They're like over $100, so right.
Right. Like I remember, like there was like to me, there's like such a pattern like in how I remember the books. The first three, like they're good books, but I just remember the beginnings always being slow, and then I can always distinctly remember. I think it's why the fourth was my favorite, at least until the fifth came out. Was because the beginning was already tense and interesting. You start with that caretaker who then encounters Voldemort and dies, and like that whole scene's like already intense and like is kind of getting you thinking. And you kind of skip through a lot of the Privet Drive stuff in that book and move pretty quickly into the Hogwarts stuff, which is the part everyone cared about.
And also
anyways.
to touch up on that part, the following scene after that with the Quidditch World Cup.
Yes, was amazing.
Because like the World Cup season is always a great season.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, people like get around different races, ethnicities, and just watch a sport, you know?
Yeah,
That's why the book is better, because in the movie they doesn't really highlight that.
Yeah, the movie didn't even highlight it.
They didn't do it justice.
No, they didn't.
Not at all.
But for me, I get a lot of crap for this. My favorite book is the first one I read was Chamber of Secrets. I know, because I saw the first movie, and then I was like, let me read the second one, and then I read the first one again. But to me, Chamber of Secrets.
See why you get a lot of crap for that.
Yeah, Chamber of Secrets for me, because as a kid, you're like, it's so nostalgic, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of monsters
True.
in Chamber of Secrets,
That
right?
is true.
Which is super cool. When you're reading it, you're like, how's this gonna happen in the movie, you know? So like to me, that was like, holy crap, this is so cool, you know? Basilisk is like a badass.
Like my sister's a
Phoenix
really nice
is
person.
shit.
That like if she heard that you said that the second was your favorite, I think she would cuss you out.
To me, it was my favorite cover too. I like the coolest cover.
What was the cover?
It's like they're in the car and they're flying over to the.
Flying over Hogwarts, I think, right?
No, but that's the new cover. What's the original one?
The original one, he's like.
Oh shit!
Because that's
you're
right. Too.
The original one, I think he's on a broom.
He's
and
on a broom.
Fox, the Phoenix, is with him.
Yeah.
And like,
But there's still people in the back. Hogwarts in the back. Yeah.
No, they're in Hogwarts. They're in like a hallway or something.
Yeah, they're in the hallway. I remember that.
The second one's my least favorite.
I know. It's a lot of people's least favorite.
And my least favorite movie.
Like, I don't hate it.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
well,
I just like the monsters. It's like more like a
I
magical.
actually say the third is my least favorite movie. That's because I like that book so much, and they just like butchered the hell out of it.
I'll give you that.
But the second, I agree. That's my least favorite book. It wasn't bad, and the end was fine. I loved the Death Day party thing, which.
Right.
Oh,
they
they completely
that.
skipped over.
But also, I'm a little bit of an arachnophobe, so like the fact that there's like giant spiders and it wasn't helping its case.
Yeah, because there's so much interaction in Chamber of Secrets with nearly headless Nick, and like they're talking to all the ghosts, and like the movie they hardly talk to any ghosts, you know.
Yeah, you see the ghosts in like the first
like
one,
having
and then
fun. They're partying
like
up.
in the seventh,
Yeah.
and that's really it.
Yeah, so.
I can tell you how many trivia games I've been a part of, and people would always miss questions about nearly headless Nick because like they only watch the movies.
Yeah, he's
Wait,
not.
what would they ask?
He's not prevalent.
Like how? Yeah, but some of the questions were like I was saying earlier, type of food that was at the party, how old was nearly headless Nick, who
How old was
attended
he?
the party. It was in the 500.
It was in the
range.
500.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
all
believe it was his
remember,
500th year that he's been dead, or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's his death day.
It's
his
Also,
death day.
people
It's
would call it birthday.
Yeah, it's his death day.
Nearly headless. How can you be nearly headless?
Like this.
Yeah, suck that, bitch.
Have you seen the memes where it's like Hermione Granger would never ask like why someone's how you can be nearly headless. She would clearly know that. Like it's like talking all this stuff about that. It's really funny.
What was it? So the second one's probably my least favorite, but I love the memes about how when he writes his name, like Tom Riddle, he goes, "I am Tom Marvel or whatever
Yeah.
Riddle." They're like, "How did you like come up with that?" It's like, "I am Lord Voldemort." It's like there's like 100 different like combinations.
Dude, I was tripping the first time I saw that movie.
Reading it, you're like, what?
Yeah.
I was like,
I actually counted the letters when I read it the first time in the book. I was
This
no
can't
way,
be
man.
right.
No,
This is not right.
It's clearly magic.
What was that? Oh, Gilderoy Lockhart was one of my favorites.
Oh my god,
yeah.
I couldn't stand him.
I give it to JK for like giving props to like when she wants you to hate someone, she puts it out there like
That's
you
true.
hate Snape the whole time even though he doesn't do anything,
Yeah.
and then you hate Gilderoy just because he's a snobby like self-centered guy who's just like, and you know someone like him. I think that's why.
But the one person that we hate even more than Voldemort
is Umbridge.
Umbridge.
Umbridge is the
Umbridge
worst
is the worst.
person. Yeah.
I would gladly team up with Voldemort to take over Voldemort than work with Umbridge.
Because I mentioned this before. I think the reason why we hate Umbridge so much is because we all know someone that is like Umbridge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And was it you that said that there was an article that's like the worst villains of all time, and
Yeah.
Umbridge is higher than Voldemort.
Yeah, Umbridge is real far up
I
there.
remember you telling me
because
that.
people really don't like her.
Because everyone knows an Umbridge.
Yeah.
You're right. Everyone knows.
We had a teacher like
We're not
that
gonna
in
name
high
drop
school.
right now, but
She's like,
I'm not gonna say no names, but this teacher was so hated that one of our other teachers helped us out with the senior prank on her.
oh really?
That's how hated she was. Yeah.
She's such like a stickler for the rules, and she doesn't care.
Mhm.
It's like she has to do everything the
she's
right
not
way.
fun. She's
And
annoying.
she's fucking evil. She like
Yeah.
the detention thing with Harry and like getting
torture.
I will not tell lies.
Like when my dad said that was some satanic shit, that was some satanic shit.
And
He's
then
walking on
but
that scene. What the hell are you watching?
I don't
you
know
get-
that. I don't know.
in the fifth one, you get the first time you get combined like forces from all the other students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because usually it's just Ron, Harry, and Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
But this time you get like Neville, you get Luna, and then
And even in the books, you were getting characters that were like barely referenced, like
Right.
Ernie and Cho and
Yeah. I was
the
gonna say,
Patel
the
twins.
fifth is great
Peeves.
because like you're getting.
Oh yeah, Peeves.
Peeves. He's not even in the movies.
Yeah, that's true. He's
Yeah.
not.
there's actually if you look online, you can find like sketches
Yeah.
of they almost put Peeves in the movie, and they
Yeah.
drew out what he was supposed
But
to
he's
look
so
like.
cool in the books because he not give a shit
Yeah.
about anything,
Yeah.
dude. And they should have that character in the movies
Yeah.
because in the books, like he don't give a shit about anybody. He won't give a shit about Umbridge or anybody. So
Yeah, especially when the Weasleys leave
Yeah.
Hogwarts,
Right.
they say, Peeves, you're in charge now. And they say in the books, they're
Yeah,
like,
and he saluted them.
Peeves
He
took
salutes
o-
them, yeah.
And he took it to a whole nother level. They was like, man, we thought Peeves was annoying. But like the minute like someone gave him permission to be annoying,
Yeah.
he took it to a whole
It's
nother
cool.
level.
He held it down.
yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, but like the fifth
I
was
was
the first
sad.
one where you're actually seeing like cross like the houses like mixing and seeing
Yeah.
more characters from each house in it. Other than like the first books, you see Gryffindor and then you see like Snape or
Slytherin.
Slytherin. Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's really kind of it. And then like you'll like mention a couple ones like Cedric and stuff like that. But from like the fifth on, you're actually like Luna's like ever present at that.
Shout out
point.
to Ravenclaw.
Things like that. It's great.
Gryffindor all the way. I mean, let's kind of keep it in order. So,
Okay.
So what I mean is the first book. Does anyone have like a favorite part of the first book?
The trials to get to the Sorcerer's Stone.
Right.
That was
all
a
the
good
trials
and
that was a good one.
They skipped.
They
They
skipped
did do
Hermione
Hermione's.
Yeah,
because
the
she has
potion
a
was-
potion.
the
She has like a
potion,
potion or
yeah.
something.
I also remember playing the game on like PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, I don't remember, but I remember playing that
You know-
game.
I had Chamber Secrets.
Yeah.
I had Chamber Secrets.
I
It was nothing like the movies or the book.
But yeah, no, I mean that part was
The Wizard's Chest
was
is
awesome. Yeah,
it's
you had
awesome,
the
dude.
Wizard's
Yeah,
Chest.
Wizard's Chest
You
is
had
the
the-
best.
Yeah, you had Hermione, you had Harry rocking it on the broom with all the flying keys and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just such a cool scene. And then, of course, to get the reveal that it's Lord Voldemort on the back of Quirrell's head.
Yo,
Right,
I used to
like-
have legit nightmares when I first saw
Oh,
that
man.
movie because I was only 9. and,
Yeah. That
and
scene in the movie is kind of creepy.
I'd always like going to bed at night. I would picture his face. It would freak me out. I could not fall asleep.
I always wonder why you like in the books like before that reveal. So why do you wear a turban?
Yeah.
like that doesn't make any sense.
You're probably wondering, was he Indian?
It's like Quirrell. No, that's a white guy.
That's my parents.
My favorite part was the Quidditch match. The first time they played Quidditch was dope.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
and-
first time or whenever Harry's broom got jinxed? Or,
no, like when he catches the snake.
oh, when he first caught this.
Yeah. Because like, I remember reading it. So I remember reading it the first time, watching the movie, and then rereading it the second time, and it's still intense when you read it.
Yeah.
You're like, Harry's reaching out, and he only falls, and he's going super fast, and blah, blah, blah. But that was my favorite part of, like, the first book.
I think my favorite part was the Halloween dinner whenever the troll escaped. And they
Oh,
had to go
yeah,
save
that was a
the
good one.
dinner.
Yeah, I forgot about that,
Because
yeah.
like both in the book and the movie, that scene was legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly, they did a good job.
They did
in
a good job in
movie.
the movie with
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was... All the movies are pretty long. But I think the third one is the one where... The shortest, but it's still pretty long. Because they missed out a lot.
They cut a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so going on to the second book, do you guys have a favorite scene?
Honestly, I mean, there's a low key kind of scene but when Ron, Fred, and George busted Harry out of his
That's a
aunt
good
and
yeah,
uncle's house.
yeah, and they're
Just
in the
because
car.
there was like a big fu to the parents and he just like bounced out. I'll
Honestly,
see you
like-
next summer.
I did it on the weekends.
Honestly, mine is like I just was like so entertained by Harry being like such a dick whenever someone tried to tell him to get rid of the diary. I found it so entertaining because I was just like, this like he's like a crack addict over here, and, like, trying to convince him to give it up and get clean, and he's like, no.
I'm
Yes
the
or no
chosen
questions
one.
only.
You don't tell me what to do.
I don't know. I found that so hilarious when I read it.
For me, it's just it's the Basilisk fight and reading that. You're just like, first time reading that, I'm like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? I don't know how it's gonna end. You know, and the Phoenix comes through, and that for me, and then finally watching it, I was like, oh, okay, this is bad.
I like when they.
Did you cry too when Fox
a little bit.
It's like the first.
He's reborn again. That's okay.
All I could think of in the movie for the second when Fox comes up, he got so close to Harry's face. I'm just like, back the fuck. Oh my god.
The
like a
second was the
Pokemon.
first time you hear a derogatory term. Like you hear mudblood and you're like, oh, what's
that's
that?
right.
They're like, how dare you say that? Is that? What is that? But I think mine was either the Basilisk fight or when he goes to the spider thing. The spider thing's cool because the car.
Isn't that your favorite part as well?
Nah.
Because the car comes and saves them. That's the part
was
so
pretty
cool.
It was much easier for me to like. I didn't have a problem with that stuff in the book so much, but then like seeing the movie, I was like, oh god.
Man,
Fan of this.
so Prisoner of Azkaban's the next one, and the scene where it's Lupin, Snape, and Sirius all together, and they're
the
talking.
shack,
and they're talking about what all happened. Like that part is crazy.
Bro,
Like-
just learning the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who really betrayed his parents?
That's my favorite scene.
Dude,
I don't
That's a
think I
dark
can
scene.
pick
I
a
liked it.
favorite in that book. 'cause,
There's
like,
a lot.
I love them all, like all the Hogsmeade trips,
Yes,
like
that's-
Harry learning everything about Sirius slowly, and like his family, the Marauders map scenes.
The first time you
Yeah,
meet,
because you're like, man, Sirius is a bad dude.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, you know,
the
what's he gonna
divination
do?
stuff,
Yeah.
the time turner, like everything happening. You think like everyone's dead. The Dementor's kiss happened to Sirius, and then like going back and like the exhilaration of like trying to like fix all that.
and the
That's
Dementors,
amazing.
like everyone knows what.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, you know what a Dementor is.
I guess if I had to pick one, I do remember getting chills when Harry finally like conjures like.
Oh, his first Patronus? Yeah.
It's not like a form yet, but like I remember reading, I was like, oh shit.
The Dementors are cool. Their Fungos are cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen
you have
it.
one?
I don't have a Dementor one.
I was like, oh, look at that. It steals your soul.
They should make one where it like has Harry in it in the Funko.
Then I think the fourth one might be like, it's a tie between the third and fourth one for my favorite books. The
Fourth one's everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
Like
that's
everyone I
my
talk
song.
to is
That's
like,
Voldemort
It's up there
comes
my
for me as
favorite.
well.
Yeah.
Voldemort comes back, like the baddie comes
that's
back.
true.
Like
And the
That's
whole
the best-
story
yeah.
is completely
That's the
different.
best scene
It
to
doesn't
me,
take that same
for sure.
The
traditional
Tri
approach.
Wizard tournament is just
Yes.
it's cool. It's just
It
so
is.
cool.
oh,
dude.
I told you guys this last time that there's an article online where each of the Triwizard trials it has a relation to the Deathly Hollows.
As
I wish I could find it, but I don't know.
Interesting.
Like the first one is crap. I don't even know. I'll remember. I'll look it up. But the fourth one, when Voldemort comes back, is my favorite one.
Yeah, I would have to say that's the best scene to me in that book by far. I mean, there's so many good ones,
You have
but
all the dragons, man. They're so
that
cool.
is a good one. But like to actually see and like read Voldemort's like return, and then in battle with Harry, and that what was it called? It was like
Priori
Incantatem
Incantatem,
or whatever, and like his parents show up and like talk to him. That part was so cool.
That was just
Right.
so much was
Yeah.
just going on in that book.
I remember I felt like mentally exhausted after reading that, and then it comes back and you think everything's fine, but then like it's like fake Moody is taking him, and you're like, oh shit, it's still happening.
Yeah.
I know we said we weren't going to talk about movies, but like that's the one thing I couldn't stand about the movie is how much it cut off.
Oh,
And
yeah.
especially the part where in the book,
R.I.P.
it
Winky.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Spew.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
The book
Yeah.
explained everything as to how the fake Moody got out of Azkaban, how he found Voldemort,
Yeah.
how he used the Dark Mark at the Quidditch World Cup. They just ignored the whole story.
Yep.
They just brushed it up. Like if you were just to watch the movies, you would assume, Barty Crouch Jr. is in Azkaban. No, Barty Crouch is gone.
Yeah.
Like if you read the book, you would know that.
Oh, and I love how they explain how he escaped.
Yeah.
And they completely go
so
over that in
dark.
the movie. I remember reading the book, and they're talking about Pettigrew's grabbing Harry. He's taking his blood. He's about to pull Voldemort out of this like stew or whatever. And I was like, it's not gonna happen. Like, there's no way Voldemort's gonna come back. And I was like, fuck, he's back.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
I actually remember the last sentence before he brought back. It was like it was describing all of the ingredients. It was describing how he was forming, and then the last sentence says, "Lord Voldemort has returned."
Yeah, it's great. Okay,
It
so
just sent a chill down my
so-
spine.
It really did.
I think in the fourth one, in the movie, they don't show you how valuable Dobby is because
Yeah.
in the book, doesn't he give Harry the gillyweed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dobby's the one that
it's
gives
not
it.
Neville,
It
it's
wasn't
Dobby.
Neville.
It's Dobby, right?
Yeah.
So,
But it was Neville who like found it in the book and has Dobby give it to him. Neville still
Is
plays
it?
a role.
Yeah,
that's the
Neville,
whole reason why
because Moody
gives
gave
that
the book
Earl
to
that-
Neville.
because
Yeah.
in all
Dobby
the
wouldn't
books-
have known off the top of his
Oh,
head.
so hold on. So I found the article.
Okay.
Right? So the first task, like fending off the fire-breathing dragon, that's about power, which represents the Elder Wand. All right. The second one, which is getting a Blood One from the lake, embodies the Resurrection Stone.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the third one is finding something lost, but it's hard to find, which sounds like the Visibility Cloak.
Sounds like my keys.
Yeah, you idiot, because you put it on the stupid headrest. Now, I remember I read that, I was like, holy shit, that kind of doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't know if
That's
JK
interesting.
did that on purpose or it was just a coincidence, but
I mean,
there is,
considering
there's an obvious connection.
yeah, considering all the other like deep connections she wove, I mean, she's a genius. I'm
She
sure it
is,
was on
props
purpose.
to her.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, but
'Cause I
going.
think she said she had the concept of the Hallows like once she had the first book.
yeah, it was early on.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
She
It was
had a
pretty
lot
early.
of it planned out.
Yeah, she had like the overarching like frame of everything pretty much decided. By,
Also,
like, the
you should
first
follow
and
her
second
on
book.
Twitter.
Oh, she's
She's
amazing.
awesome on Twitter.
I don't think
She's
I have
hilarious.
on Twitter.
She's awesome.
He makes fun of Trump a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, I know that though.
and roasts like the trolls who like comment to her. She roasts them so bad. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I think when they introduced the other two schools, that was big too.
That was cool.
What were their names?
Bo-Katan and Durmstrang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are cool, and I mean the fourth one's awesome. So now we go to the fifth one. So
The best.
Love it.
I'll
Oh,
admit,
the
you know
best
what?
one,
You know
yes.
what? My favorite thing about the fifth one is Umbridge, because that is someone that
as like a new.
As I reading all these other books I've read, I was like, I don't think I've ever hated someone.
Yeah.
He's like, I just
As-
hope something bad happens. Like, every
Yeah.
page, like I hope something bad
I was
happens.
like,
I hope something
she's
bad
like,
happens.
she's in the back, like watching the class. She's making little smirks and everything. I was like, oh, I hate you. I like reading about you.
Honestly, like my favorite part about that one is like it has a lot to do with Umbridge, but it's McGonagall. Like,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
so-
She
like she
stepped-
like stands
oh.
up, like she
She's
doesn't
badass.
She doesn't take any of Umbridge's shit. Like, and then like I also love the owls and the fact that the owls exams are going on and like
That's
they're
the chapter
actually,
I'm
doing
on
that.
right now.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
like you get to that part where he's like out there for the astronomy thing.
Oh, and
then
they watch
see
the whole
all of like
scene, yeah.
Umbridge's people like trying to catch and
Hagrid.
try and stun Hagrid, and then McGonagall comes
Oh,
walking.
spoiler
I'm
alert, I
like,
forgot that
what the
part.
f are y'all doing? Oh, yeah.
Man. And also one of my favorite parts is just like the formation of the DA.
Yeah.
And how they
Yeah,
had to do
that's
that
true. Dumbledore's
undercover, you know.
Which the movie, I mean, it did it all right, but I mean, it was so much better.
The
in
book
the
did it so much better. It
Yeah.
made it seem a lot more difficult, a lot dark,
I do
a
like
lot
how
more
they kept the
mysterious.
part where when Dumbledore escapes, and they're like, you might not like him, but he still has class.
Kingsley.
Yeah. He's got style.
That's the one part of the movie I really enjoyed because of his accent.
Yeah. My favorite thing from the movie is an awesome but kind of gross meme that came from like that scene where it's like something like when your girlfriend tells you to be quiet because your parents are home, and then it shows Dumbledore in his office, and he's like, "You're assuming that you're assuming that I'm going to
come
what's the
quietly."
words? Come quietly. Or something like that. I remember seeing that meme, and I think I was like drinking something at that point. I literally spit it out. I was dying laughing.
Raj, what about you? What's your favorite part of the fifth one?
Me finishing it because I hate.
Honestly, I thought he was going to say
That
Sirius
one.
dying. Just 'cause Roger's
No,
an
that was
evil
probably.
person.
I was really sad because at that point, after reading the third one, you're like, who is it says it bad, and then you're like, oh, he's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you learn about they don't talk about. Do they talk about they don't talk about in the movie where they the Marauders map and like how they created it, like with James Potter and all that.
They hardly talked about
They
it.
gloss
They just
over
make
that,
James Potter
yeah.
look like a dick, and he's actually really like a good guy like in
Yeah.
the books. Like he
Well-
helps create the map with.
Well, it was
No,
like
he's a dick.
He's a
Well,
dick, yeah.
It's the early memories. The early memories
Yeah.
he sees, he is kind of a dick. He's like bullying Snape.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
there's more. I mean,
There's more to
they
him.
show more.
It's a complex
They
relationship.
show more
guys.
memories
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
that, and it shows like how he becomes and grew. And
Yeah, because
became a better
when
person.
Harry goes into Snape's memory, and that scene where like you see James picking on Snape for no
Yeah.
reason.
yeah,
You're emo.
But you also have to remember that if it wasn't for James, Sirius would have died back when they were kids.
that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
I don't know, but I agree. Like Sirius dying, I was just like, man, that's like another slap in the face to Harry. Like,
Yeah, I was just like,
he had,
how many people are you
no
going to
one,
take
and
from
then,
him?
Like, oh, in book 3, he finally has like a living relative or
Yeah.
family member at
Yeah.
least. And then I was like, okay, 2 books later, just kidding.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of him. That was
What
so
are there
sad.
some differences from the movies and the books in the fifth one?
So
There's not much.
there was.
I remember in
trying
the
to
chase in the Ministry of Magic, there was a room with a brain in it.
Yeah, they
in the
completely
books.
glossed
Yeah.
over that.
The movie didn't.
But it's fine,
The movie
'cause that's
glossed over
small.
Arthur Weasley getting attacked by the snake and Harry's relationship with that, and afterwards they went to St. Mungo's. And you meet,
they didn't show St. Mungo.
You meet Neville's
yeah.
parents.
That's a big part.
You meet Neville's parents. You see Gilderoy Lockhart without his
Oh,
memory,
yeah.
like all this stuff. And that was a big key because like then it started setting up the whole prophecy idea that it could be Neville or
yeah.
Harry.
Mhm.
And I think that's why they didn't do it in the movie, because they wanted Harry to shine. And I feel like if people saw like Neville's parents and how he died and his relationship with Voldemort, like
But that, to me, that was like essential to like the reason why Harry was like kind of a jerk throughout most of that book, because like he has like so much going on. Like no one believes him that that Voldemort's back. Everyone is ridiculing him and calling him crazy.
Yeah, they're
And
talking
then,
about that in the where it's like, what does Sirius say? Is like keep your friends close or something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because he goes with that in the movie. Or,
Yeah,
He does say that in the movie.
Yeah.
Also,
But then-
another thing.
I was just gonna say, like, to finish that thought, it was like, but then, like, he finds out that it could have, that really, the only reason why his parents are dead and his life was the way it was is by complete chance, because Voldemort made a snap decision that Harry posed the greater threat.
Right, and also another thing that I just remembered was, I remember early in the 5th book, they were talking about how, like, when they were in Grimmauld Place after a while, they were cleaning up the rooms, because, like, no one had been living in the house for a while. They actually found the locket that was a Horcrux there.
Oh yeah.
They talk about that in the book.
Yeah.
You don't see that in the movie. You don't see that whole cleaning scene at all.
That's true.
So I just thought about that right now.
Yeah, I think there's a whole bunch of little things. That book throws so many like little details at you that you don't pick up until later.
Yeah.
So when you're reading it through the first time, you're like, you don't really care about this. Like you're like, oh, they picked up a locket. Who cares? Blah blah blah, stuff like that. So oh, it's Sirius. Like you don't realize what's going to happen in Sirius at the end of that book. So Harry's interactions with Sirius, like when you're reading it the first time, you're like, oh, he's just talking to his godfather. But you don't realize like after what happens, you're like those moments were like deep to him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so moving on to the 6th book, what are y'all's favorite parts from that one?
The 6th book was actually one of my least favorite books.
I agree.
I think it followed the movie.
I love
It
it.
followed the
pretty,
movie
like,
close.
except for
I
Dumbledore freezes Harry before Dumbledore dies, right?
Yeah.
In the book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
he does. Yeah.
And also, they skipped the whole operation lesson.
that's true.
I would have loved to have seen that.
Exam.
Yeah.
My thing was like reading the 6th book and finding out how Voldemort became Voldemort was amazing to me. And the fact that they skimmed over that real quick in the movie, and I was like,
Yeah.
no.
But when
I
you see
like that
Dumbledore die, and you're just like, and it's Snape, and you're just like,
Oh,
what is
that was
happening,
so
man?
hard. They changed Dumbledore's like funeral thing.
Yeah,
in the
it was a
movie.
lot more
'Cause
epic in the book.
Like they just have him like kind of like there on like a pedestal or something, or in like a normal stone
Yeah.
kind of sarcophagus, and then like Fox flies and like lands and it like becomes this like I forgot what it was, like this crystal or like diamond looking
thing,
like this more extravagant thing, like because Fox joins him, and that was like so cool to me.
And you had
but-
like hundreds of people at Dumbledore's funeral, even
Yeah.
like people of different creatures and all that were there.
You
what
see
was I gonna say?
Dumbledore go crazy when he's drinking the water.
Man.
Oh, dude, he's like,
that's
no.
true.
Yeah, and you're like, this is the guy that you were like, when you're reading it, he's like, he protects everyone. So everyone brags about
Right.
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, Dumbledore's here. He's
That
saved.
scene, you seem so like mortal. So
Yeah.
I think
human.
to me, the coolest part about the book is it's kind of like, that cliffhanger is like, I am the Half-Blood Prince,
Yeah.
like, and you're like, that's my book, bitch. So to me, that's like, I was like, oh my god, this is like the coolest part.
Man, I remember getting the 6th book. I got it at midnight, and I remember going to my cousin's house to read it. And he came up to me. He's like, "Yeah, main character dies in that book." And he was giving me clues, so like
The hell?
to the point where I knew it was
dick.
between 3 people, and it was pissing me off. So
Is this the dude that stole your Pokemon when you?
no, that's the dude I stole the Pokemon from. Yeah, same cousin.
So it was revenge.
It was kind of revenge. But so I went home. I finished the book that whole night. Went back over to his house, and I told him who died.
Oh, wow.
I was that dick. That's the kind of relationship we had. And
I
he chased me around the house again.
I remember someone, the news put it up because I think when the 4th book came out is when like the midnight party started happening, and so by the time the 6th one came out, they put, oh my, I still remember this because someone wore a shirt that says Dumbledore dies on page whatever, and like at one of the bookstores.
Oh no.
Dude, now thinking back, I remember like around that time, that's when like you had to finish those books quick.
Yeah.
Because the internet was booming and
Oh, they
people would
just-
just start
yeah,
posting
they
shit.
just
They
spoil
didn't
the hell
care.
out of it.
They wouldn't put the whole spoilers or warning signs.
See, I was
They
in
just say it.
I was in India when I bought it, and I didn't know who the Half-Blood Prince was. So, but it had already been out for a while.
Uh-huh.
But my cousin in India told me.
Really?
I was like, well, yeah,
God.
Snape.
Reading it, did you kind of figure out who it might be, or no?
What do you mean? I mean,
Actually,
no.
I had no idea.
I didn't know.
They
I had
told
no
me
idea.
before I opened up the book.
Oh, okay.
I think Snape's the Half-Blood Prince. I was like, you asshole.
No, but I think the book did a really good job.
Half-Blood Prince.
At least for me, I think the book did a good job in like keeping that suspense as to who is a Half-Blood
Yeah, I had no
Prince.
idea.
I would
there was
not think Snape.
there was no speculation or anything.
I don't think I got Snape either.
Mm-mm.
I don't remember who I thought. Yeah.
Neither did
I
I.
thought like, is it Voldemort? Like I don't know.
Yeah. But then I was like, I don't think it can be Voldemort because in
Prince
the
of Persia?
they're all like about
And then you get oh my god, what's Slughorn?
Slughorn.
Slughorn and the lucky potion and everything. That was
Felix
sweet.
Felicis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Dude, I actually like that scene in the movie. Like Harry's
The
a
movie-
Oh, Harry
sarcastic
gets-
They
dude.
did that really well.
When Harry
I
gets
really
like drunk or
enjoyed
whatever.
that.
Yeah.
He's like, the little pincers. That was a good one.
The Sectum Sempra. That's like.
Oh yeah, that was dark.
That was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
dark, dude.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not care that Malfoy got hit by that curse and he was bleeding. I was just like, good.
No, I
you know
wasn't-
how much shit you've done in the last
It was
6
more.
years.
It was more just like reading like how traumatized Harry was after realizing what he had just done.
Oh,
the
but
thing was,
then-
I wasn't traumatized. I
Like,
was,
about to die,
kind of
bro.
happy.
And then doesn't Harry try to do it on Snape? And Snape's like,
Yeah.
bitch, that's mine.
That's when he says, "I'm the Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood
You dare use my spells against
Let's
me,
talk about
Papa?"
let's talk about the fact that Harry is a book addict in like book 2, and then he's a book addict again in book 6. Like this kid needs to lay off like the books, like especially like the evil ones.
Yeah, he gets like
He
Well,
keeps
yeah,
getting and then he
evil
gets
books,
addicted,
yeah.
doesn't want to give them up, and bad
Well,
things happen.
Even
Like,
Ginny's like, oh, don't talk, like, don't read too
books
much
that
in the
can think
books.
for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she would know. I mean, with the
She
whole
would know.
diary
Then,
situation.
yeah.
So the sixth one, sixth one's one of my favorites as well. Now the seventh one, the final one.
Oof.
So there's a lot to that book, but there's also a lot I don't like about that book. What
I
was-
read that book. I did not go to sleep. I got it at midnight the day it came out. I did not go to sleep. I read it all the way through.
Yep.
Holy shit!
Same.
I read it in less
Wait,
than
how-
24
how-
hours.
Oh, I was like, okay. I was like,
Okay.
you should read it.
All right. So what was your favorite part? I mean, do you have a
God.
favorite part?
No, I mean, really, I liked that book so much. I'm trying to think. I guess learning about the Deathly Hallows and then learning about, I don't know, just kind of how it all broke down. The battle with Voldemort. Of course, Molly Weasley going, "Not my daughter, you bitch."
Man,
Like,
that's one of my
stuff.
That's my
favorite
favorite.
scenes.
Yeah, dude.
That's
I
so
read that
cool.
line twice. I was like, they did not just use that word in this book.
Side note again, I hate to keep referencing back to the movies, but I've never been so pissed as how they handled Voldemort's death in the movie. Like, the whole point is it's supposed to be, it was such a big reference of a moment when he, like, gets hit with the spell and falls dead on the floor.
Yes.
Like, they even write it how he basically dies and he lays there dead and he looks like nothing more than a man, because that's the point. He thought he was
Oh,
more than
mortal
man,
man,
but
yes.
he was man. And then in
And
the
they-
movie,
they
you have
fucked
him
it up.
turn into, like, ash and
Ash,
fly away.
yeah.
It's
When
so
I was at the
dumb.
theater,
You ruined it.
I couldn't believe that I was cussing that loud in the
Yeah.
theater that people were staring at me. Like my relatives were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "This is all wrong."
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
I was
Well,
like,
he-
you ruined the
he's
whole
supposed to
point.
be an
Yeah.
ordinary man, like you're right, and that's
Yeah.
how they portrayed it in the book. And then when he came in the movie, oh, he's not a man, I guess.
Yeah,
whatever.
because they talk at certain points like trying to make him seem greater than a man, but then they go back and they always reference that he is still just a person, and so that is supposed to be like a powerful moment that shows he dies just like everyone else. He was not anything special, not anything different.
That's why I liked part 1 of the movies.
I mean, that's why I
a lot
can't
more
take
than
over
the
high
second.
school. I mean, that's why I can't take over in high school.
Raj, what was your favorite part of the seventh
I
one?
think reading about Snape, and
Oh, yeah,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah.
like
Oh,
taken away by
God.
everything, and you're like,
Always.
oh my god, yeah, always, it ends with always, and
Feels.
you're just like, I had to take a moment and then come back to it.
Like, I want to touch up on that. Like, I wasn't gonna say my favorite part, but like the sad part and the one that stuck to me the most was when Harry saw the Pensieve and just learned the whole truth.
Yeah.
About
Oh, the
Snape
Pensieve, yeah.
and about how he was always supposed to die. Whenever I read that part, like, I almost teared up. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
It was like,
It's like,
after
"Give
all
me
these
JK."
years,
It's
like, you're gonna have to
I was like,
kill
You've
Dumbledore."
been ducking and dodging Voldemort every book.
Yeah,
And
honestly,
then it turns out you have to die.
I think it might be which one is it? Is it Fred or George? Which one dies? Like,
Oh.
God, that
Oh,
was
Fred.
I want to say
God.
Fred.
It was
That
Fred.
one, I think it was Fred. That one's the part that I think hits me the hardest. Like that was
Forgot
so
about
sad.
that. There's so many death scenes in
yeah,
that.
are.
and in the movie, like, it doesn't bothered on. Like, there's not that much in the movie where it's like, in the
like,
book,
it
it's
doesn't
more
show,
of a
like,
thing.
it's so much more intense. Like,
it's more intense.
Ron
They show
breaks
him,
down like in tears.
they show him sad in the movie,
But that's it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
and like Harry, like through his mind, you're reading like he's beating himself up. He's watching his friends die, and he thinks it's all because of him.
Yeah.
Like, that's supposed to be a big part. Remus and Tonks dying, like all that stuff. Like the movie shows it and it handles it okay.
Maybe
it's
Harry
just
was
not
crying
quite the
because he has to
same.
take care of their kid now.
I do like in the movie
I'm a godparent.
where he's
I'm
like,
a teenager though. I'm a teenage parent.
It's like Hogwarts and pregnant. I
He's
do.
like, I'm a teenage father that's also a virgin.
I was gonna say I do like how they bring that up, like when he's walking through the forest, like in the movie. In the movie, when I don't know if it happens, I can't remember if it happens in the book because I'm still reading it. But how they're like, oh, your son's gonna grow up not knowing you, and they're like, well, they're gonna know what you did. I was like, that man's deep.
The movie did justice on that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job.
The good things about the movie is, like, part one, the scenery is amazing. Whenever they're traveling for the Horcruxes,
Yeah.
See,
scenery is so good.
I remember reading that part in the books, and
It's
I
slow.
hated it.
It's
is
slow.
very
It's
Oh
slow.
my god!
It
I was
is.
like,
But in the
stop
movie,
fucking
I think
walking.
they did that on purpose because it is slow. In the movies, like, it's super cool. Like the scenery they use,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I mean, they ended on the whole the bank breakout,
yeah.
which is awesome. That dragon's awesome. The ride at Universal.
yeah.
is
Oh, the ride at
awesome.
Universal.
That's such a
shit.
cool one.
No, I need to
My
go back.
favorite part is the Snape thing and the bitch part.
Yeah.
Snape and bitch
Yeah.
are my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading.
I was
her
like, who
saying-
you calling a bitch, man?
I remember reading that part. I was like, oh my god, she said a bad word.
I remember, like, it threw me for a loop when freaking Malfoy's mother, like, realizes that Harry's alive, but, like, keeps it secret.
Dude,
Yeah.
that
I was like, oh,
badass.
shit. Like, because I was expecting, in my mind, like, coming to it, I was expecting Drago to do something to redeem himself, which he kind of didn't. Like, he kind of just, at one point, stopped being bad and siding with Voldemort,
Yeah.
but he didn't really do anything great. But, like,
Well,
for
I
it to
mean,
be
he-
her to, like,
he
be the
kinda
one
did.
and kind of instrumental in...
He kind of did when they got caught and they were at Malfoy Manor. Like, everyone pretty
A
much
little
knew
bit.
that was Harry, but, like, he never confirmed it.
What
That's
were,
true.
What were the 7 Horcruxes? Name them off the top of your
Okay.
head.
Snake, the cup, the locket, the diary, the diadem, Harry, and the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, I didn't think I could do that. I thought I was going to miss something.
Because they always say, even in the books, they always say there's 7 Horcruxes, right? They always say 7.
Always said seven.
Yeah,
But
always
none of them knew it was Harry until...
Dumbledore is a genius, but he wasn't 100% sure that
Yeah,
Harry...
but they always
Yeah.
said 7.
When did
Yeah.
he figure it out? I don't remember.
It's like, you gotta
now.
die, bro.
No,
Because like,
no.
you see it in the pensieve, but it's like that scene's occurring while Harry's in school.
Yeah,
he figured
I
it out
would
while Harry's
assume.
in school.
I would assume that was during the 6th book after Dumbledore got his hand
I think it
injured.
is
Yeah,
true.
when he
because
said-
that's when he was like learning more about.
I feel
the
like his
Horcruxes.
first
It
clue,
had to have been
his
then.
first clue had to have been like
The diary?
scar, really.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he could all and like in 5 where he can like see Voldemort and what Voldemort's doing.
So like
that
I'm
was
sure
his
he
first
was like
clue.
brainstorming
Yeah.
for a couple of years, but it wasn't until the 6th where he kind of made that decision.
Right.
Hey, I think Harry is a Horcrux. It's the only thing that explains how he's a Parseltongue, how he can see Voldemort's visions.
Yeah.
You know? How he can, he's in pain when Voldemort's in pain.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is that lightning scar, everyone knows that lightning scar.
Yeah, even if they're not a real
everyone
Harry
just
Potter fan.
thought it was a scar, but she went and made it like a huge part of the story.
Yeah.
Where she was like, that's the reason why he's a Horcrux. Like, there's a part of Voldemort in that scar. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, going back and like connecting everything together
Oh, yeah.
is ridiculous.
It
to me.
connects so well too. Like there's so many things that were so clearly thought out early on, and then like I don't know. When I read those books, I just look at it and I'm like, this is what I wish like most of my favorite or most TV shows I used to love
Yeah.
were, because like they end and there's so many plot holes, and I'm just thinking about it. And there's maybe like a couple minor plot holes in the Harry Potter
Everyone
book
has
series,
the
but
time turner plot hole.
yeah, that's
Oh,
the
man.
one.
Just go
Yeah.
back. Well, they try to do that in the next book in Cursed Child, and that one was just like,
Oh
what
man,
the
that's
fuck?
oh god.
What are some of the differences in this one?
What do you
In
mean?
the movie?
Which one's
Deathly
that?
Hallows? Yeah. I think Peter Pettigrew doesn't die, right?
Okay, that pissed me off in the
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't die, right? In the
He-
book.
in the movie, he doesn't die. In the book, he dies.
Book he
Yeah,
dies.
because
yeah.
he essentially like stops, like, and decides to help them. He decides to. It's like a decision to like let Harry Potter and them leave, or
Yeah.
because like Harry talks to him is basically like make up for like do this one thing, like prove you are the person that my parents thought you to be, all this stuff, and like
Then
he
he
doesn't even do
hesitated.
it yet, but it's the hesitation and that thought, and it causes that hand to kill it.
Yeah.
and that was such a cool. That was a powerful
Where does
moment.
that mirror that they talk about in the movies, where does that come from?
Sirius gave that to
Yeah,
him
it's a gift
back,
from
like,
Sirius.
I think it was in the end of the 5th book. Like he had it. Sirius had given it to him, but Harry had forgotten it throughout the rest of the 5th book.
Okay,
it was in his trunk. So like
because they kind of skim over that in the movie.
I think
they
did.
did.
I think it was part of his birthday gift or something like that. But it was when Harry was still kind of pissed, and so he like just forgot about it.
And
but
then in the book, Dudley actually says goodbye to Harry, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I wish they showed that.
I'm like, they should have done that in the movie. Like he actually comes around,
have, like an amicable like
they
separation.
they shake
Two
his
movies,
hands.
you could have squeezed in like 10 more minutes.
Come on, he's a good.
They had a cutscene with Petunia.
Which one is
as
it?
a bonus
They
scene.
did. They did have
but,
that.
like, you should have had the Dudley one.
Which one is it? Is it? I don't think it's book 7. Is it book 5 or 6 where the Dursley? It's book 5 at the beginning where like where Dudley gets attacked by the Dementor.
Yeah.
They
Where's
come
your
back
mom,
and they
Mary?
want to like kick him out, and that Howler comes in, like says like remember your
remember
promise.
my last.
Remember my
Petunia.
last. Yeah, that whole thing. Like
Who
they
sends
skip
the
that.
Howler? McGonagall?
Dumbledore.
Yeah.
It yells out in Dumbledore's voice, "Remember my last," and they just and Petunia's the one who just all of a sudden like remembers and be like, "He's not leaving. Harry, take your stuff back upstairs." And Vernon's like, "The hell? What just happened?" Like, but that was like a cool moment too, and it was just completely cut out.
That was cool, yeah. And then we always think about the movie because your dumbass always says that.
What?
It's like,
Where's your mom, Harry?
Oh yeah.
Cedric, your boyfriend.
She dead.
So you've mentioned you've been to a couple midnight releases.
Oh man.
Have y'all all been to a midnight release?
Yeah.
I've only been to one, and that was the 7th book.
I did all of them from the 4th to the 7th, part 2.
6 and 7.
I went to Walmart to grab the 7th one, and there was no one there.
I did 6 and 7, but when I went to get Cursed Child, that was the best one.
Oh, really?
That's the only one I didn't do.
Oh, you should have. It was
Yeah,
so epic.
I had pre-ordered on Amazon, so it just came to me.
they were having like these events.
You should just wear a robe.
I got a couple months after the fact when I was in New York. Honestly, I didn't care too much for that book.
I finished it in like 4 hours, but like I haven't reread it. It was okay.
It jumps. It's a play.
It's a play, so it's quick to read.
So it jumps like years and years.
Honestly, I had more fun at the trivia. Barnes & Noble was having like a Harry Potter themed party, and they had like these one-on-one trivia matches. And like if you won 5 questions straight, you won like these bonus prizes. And I ended up winning. Like I was going up against these kids, and I had no mercy. Like they asked the question, I was like, I hit the bell, I answered it, and then the moderator was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Give me my points, man." Of course I'm sure.
You better Google that shit, right? I think my favorite part of Cursed Child is that they put Albus in Slytherin.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yeah,
I like how
That's
they
dope.
changed it.
That's dope. That's like
Yeah.
left field kind of shit, you know?
I think reading it as a script, I kind of wish they had made it like novel form.
I think it would have been better in the novel.
Yeah, it would have been, but like I feel like they rushed it. Like it came out so quick, and they could have put more time into that.
Should be coming next year here, the play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
One of my
actually-
friends who lives in London, he's watched it. I think it's his second time watching it.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think it'll come to Broadway.
I bet it would be better as a play.
Yeah.
I'd probably enjoy it.
I mean, they're
more.
gonna make it a movie too.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Harry Potter's
They
not going
better,
away.
yeah.
Like they have the Fantastic Beasts trilogy that's happening right now.
I love
5 movies?
5 movies. Yeah.
Or 5 movies. My bad.
God.
What's that called? A quintilogy?
Saga.
Man, never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a word for that yet.
Yeah. they'll make one after they're all released.
Probably at that point you just say saga like you do for all for all the Star Wars.
And then I'm excited for that one because I actually bought it on Blu-ray and I still haven't watched it.
Which one?
Like Fantastic Beasts.
Oh.
Like I'm surprised I haven't sat down and watched it again.
I haven't
I
bought
think
it
I
on
only
Blu-ray
saw it
yet.
once in theater.
Oh, I saw it twice in theaters.
I saw it once and a half
Once in a
because Reshma had to go to like a Christmas party for her work friends. And I went and watched it, and she's like, "I'm done." I'm like, "But I'm only halfway through." Come pick me up. I'm like, "Nah." I do have a Mad Eye Moody Funko. I think that's one of my favorites.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
man.
a Mad Eye Moody Funko. I have a Harry Potter regular one, and then I have a Harry Potter in his Quidditch uniform, which
So
is
I have a
dope.
really like cool rare one. It's Harry Potter. Which one is it?
I don't know. It's
sounds
yours.
really
Oh my god! Oh, he's in the Sorting Hat. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
That's pretty cool.
It's like, which one do I have? I have Harry Potter in the Sorting Hat, and then I have Malfoy being a dick or something like that.
Does it say Malfoy being a dick
I
on the
think
box?
my favorite thing about Fantastic
Quotation.
My favorite thing about Fantastic Beasts is the fact that like they expanded even farther. You learn about like what the schools in like Africa, Japan, America do, and while they're
Oh, yeah,
how they're
yeah.
all different. Like I think the one in Africa, like you basically hear that like they learn how to like use spells without even using wands. Like they
Oh, really?
or like speaking. They like just learn how to do it with like their mind.
Oh, nonverbal spells. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
That's like using
nonverbal.
jutsu without hand signs.
Yeah. Yes. And then like there's a Native American one also in America where like they learn how to do like shape shifting and like this other stuff that's like connected to like Native American.
The one thing I liked about Fantastic Beasts was because I don't know about y'all, but whenever I read the books, I would always envision like what would it be if there was like an American wizarding society.
Totally not what I imagined.
Not what I imagined.
Yeah.
And again, the setting was like in the 1930s. But like,
Everyone's
I
obese.
really love that.
Yeah, like they were kind of authoritarian and weird, like, but it was
Yeah.
still kind of cool to see.
So did you guys ever like envision like for me, I always pictured myself as being friends with Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and being instead of a trio, it was like the four of us. Did you ever like?
No, I
envision
think
yourselves
I would
like
have
that?
been friends with Fred and George.
Fred and George. You would be good
I
at
would have
that.
been friends with Fred and George. Harry would have been like, "You bitch, get away from us."
Or Peeves,
killed, man.
not giving a shit, just hanging out with Peeves,
Hey, Peace, what are you doing?
Same thing I always do.
Yeah, either Fred and George and like kind of like maybe that other crew. I think because Harry and them were. I mean, they kind of secluded themselves from everyone. At the
That's
same
true.
time.
That's true.
Everyone else had friends, but they didn't.
They just had each other.
I think the saddest scene in all. Okay, it's not all the books, but one of the saddest scenes is the Yule Ball when it's just them two sitting at the table. Like everyone else is having
Do you want to
fun.
dance?
I think it was worse for it was worse for Ron, and he had this horrible dress for
Oh god, that was bad.
Poor Ron.
I always thought it was hilarious though that like Harry. I mean, it was kind of sad, but it was hilarious. But like they seclude themselves; they're all friends, and then like when like Harry and Ron finally fight, like Harry's just all alone. I'm like man, and Ron gets Hermione because they kind of got this weird crush thing going on.
Yeah.
Harry's got no one over here.
Also-
So who can he talk to? Dobby in the kitchen? Is that what he's doing all day?
I'm glad you
Like-
mentioned that because in the movies, like they don't do a good job of showing the relation between Harry and Ginny. Like in the book,
Oh yeah.
the book
It
it's like
came left
the book
field.
they're like basically together. Like
Yeah.
she's always there. She's
Yeah, by
Like them
really
breaking
by
up
book
was a
four
big
is
Didn't they
where,
break,
like,
remember they break up because Harry's like, oh, I'm gonna get you killed. Basically, I'm gonna get you killed.
Yeah, it was a big
Hell,
deal.
hell,
Yeah.
it's a
Was
big
Ginny
deal.
even in the third movie?
Just running around in the background.
I think I saw the back of her head one time.
It's in book 4 where she starts being a little bit more present, and then by book 5 she's in almost every chapter.
She's in everything.
Yeah.
And so like in the movies, they're not that love connection or whatever. It's not there, and that's like
It made it feel awkward.
yeah,
Plus, like that first kiss of theirs was like one of the most awkward things I've ever watched in my life.
yeah.
I was like,
I don't know. The Cho one was
And
kind
the
of
room of requirement, right?
The Cho
Oh,
one was
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
awkward.
The Scottish
The room
Chinese
requirement?
chick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's weird. Harry kissed both of his girls with hers on the room of
Requirement,
requirement.
yeah.
Oh, snaps. You're right.
7 7
I was about to say. 7 minutes ahead.
What time is it?
Oh god, yeah. We've been talking about Harry Potter for about an hour now, so we're about to slide things down. You guys have anything else you want to say? One thing I will say
I miss
is,
it. I miss Harry Potter.
Yeah.
one thing I wish I can get my memory wiped and reread the books. Same thing with Star Wars and like. I was like, I want to
Capture the magic again?
Yeah, I want to capture that magic again. But one thing I do love is when one of my friends, who's never read the book,
Read the book.
and reads a book. Like one of my really good friends, she read them and she's like, Ricky, I haven't put these books down. I think she read all 7 books in a year, in less than a year.
If you're one of
That
those
sounds like an
people,
amazing year.
I'll end with this. If you're one of those people who've seen the movies but don't want to read the books but think you're this huge Harry Potter fan, you are not a fan till you read those books.
God,
I
no.
promise you, they are 1,000 times better than those movies could ever be.
So much left out.
Yeah.
So much left out.
So good. And go to Universal Studios.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You'll appreciate it more if you read the books.
Yeah, Reshma has a wand, right? And she's never read the books. She's watched the movies, but I think when she went to Universal, that was probably one of her favorite moments too. That park is amazing.
Yeah.
It is. It is so well done.
While we're speaking of the parks, I'm pretty sure all y'all bought a wand. What wands did y'all get?
I actually did not buy one.
Ah,
I got
But I'm going back. I'm going to Universal Hollywood in October.
What would you get?
So, what will I get? I think
I
I'm
have
going
Elder.
to get.
I have the elder one.
You got the elder
I
one?
got the
Okay.
most powerful one.
I got
Yeah.
Sirius's one.
Same here.
It's
My
so
boy.
dope.
I was gonna say. I think I was gonna get serious, but if you guys would have it, I'll get
Sirius
The
has
graphics on it are so
Sirius has
So
the
you
gold
get
one.
Luna's?
Luna's.
I get Luna's Ravenclaw.
I mean, I am Ravenclaw.
Get like some random one, like Seamus or
Oh
something.
my god.
I might get Voldemort's. This is kind of
Just like
cool.
a cream puff or something.
With the skull on the
No,
bottom.
it just
Yeah, it's like,
explodes.
it's like white. That white wood has a
Yeah,
skull.
yeah,
yeah.
I might get Voldemort's. It's kind of cool.
Harry's just so boring. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, come on,
Just a
man.
twig.
I just love the designs on Sirius's mom,
Sirius
man.
is so cool. It's like hieroglyphics.
One more
I
movie
feel like
rant.
he did that while he was in his cell.
Yeah.
One more movie rant about a change from the book. The movies, they have Harry snap the Elder Wand before he fixes
Yes,
his
how can we
wand.
not talk about this?
Yeah. Now
Wait,
let's
what
get
does he
another
do? What
one.
does he do?
Okay.
And he snaps the wand on the bridge and throws it. But in the book, he first he has the pieces of his broken wand. He uses the Elder Wand to
Wand to fix
repair
it,
it,
yeah.
and then he breaks the Elder Wand.
I can't wait.
Well, I
to
think he
read that
returns
part.
it. I don't think he breaks it. He returns it though. He returns it to Dumbledore's grave.
Oh, that's
He
right.
says, "I'm
he
going to
did.
return it
He
to its
didn't
final
break
resting
it, that's
place."
right.
Yeah. But that thing pissed me off in the movie.
fact that
Another
they
reason why I
have-
cussed in the theater.
Yeah.
The fact that they have like wand lore, where it's like even the wands have their own stories.
Yeah.
is pretty badass.
They talk a lot about that in the 7th book.
Oh, they do. The wand
Like
lore
you
stuff is
always
really
heard the
interesting.
wand chooses the wizard, but that didn't really kick into the
Shout out
7th.
to
Yeah.
You heard
Ollivander.
that back in the
Shout out
first
to
book, then
Ollivander.
kick into the 7th.
Oh, that guy Ollivander, John Hurt, the guy in the movie.
He recently died, right?
Yeah, and he was a doctor. Just throwing that in Doctor Who.
Oh
Just
my
throwing that out there.
God.
Threw it in the podcast. I'm good. All right.
I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about for the Fantastic Beasts saga is seeing Grindelwald and what he's gonna do.
Jude Law.
I can.
No, Jude Law's Dumbledore.
It was,
Yeah.
Young Dumbledore.
Young
Yeah.
Dumbledore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see that final scene when they duel Grindelwald
Yes.
as Dumbledore.
That's
Because
the
they
one
have
thing.
to make it badass.
They have to.
It has to be. It has to be Book 5's Voldemort Dumbledore scene in the Ministry of Magic,
on
times 10.
steroids, yeah.
Because that battle was badass. But I
I hope they make Grindelwald look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
did y'all forget Johnny Depp was in the movie and he walked on stage like shit, throw something on him. I was like, y'all can do better than this.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's gonna end up our podcast today. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter. This will be up on YouTube, SoundCloud, and we're on Instagram now.
What?
And
You can watch us take pictures of us talking about podcasts. But always, just keep listening, and we'll always have new stuff coming out every few weeks. But as always, I'm Ricky,
I'm Ben.
Raj.
Sauber.
and cheers.